Okay. So if you haven't already, you can make your way so that you're comfortably seated. You can also lie down if you want. So just make sure you're comfortable. And we'll do our centering. Some of the requests we're strengthening core in particular. My mind is blank. Oh, triangle, balancing. Okay, so it's a good combo. All right. So find a comfortable seat. Maybe the palms are face up. Maybe the palms are face down. That's up to you. Maybe the eyes are closed. Or maybe you just gaze softly at the floor. My lighting looks a little dim, so I'm trying to fix it. And just start to notice what it's like for you. You rolled out your yoga mat, you set aside this time. So notice what it's like to be finally arrived in, or to have arrived in this time, in this moment, in this space. And start to breathe into this space, into this moment, into the invitation for your mind and the present moment to like introduce themselves, right? To shake hands. And as we say hello to the present moment, let's take a few sighs, so a few cleansing breaths to say see you later to all the other moments, right? So take a deep breath in through the nose and just sigh it out through the mouth. And maybe a couple more. And let your breath return to its natural state just for a moment. Feel your sitting bones pressing into the ground. Crown of the head reaching up towards the sky. Maintaining that natural curve in the back of the neck, so we're not overly lengthened. We were talking about that earlier. Soften the shoulders. And then from this space of awareness, of elongation, begin to illuminate your experience of your physical body with your breath. Think of it like a searchlight in the darkness, right? It's moving into the body, it's stretching out the diaphragm, the lungs, the belly, the chest. And then gently releasing. Just a glimpse, and then you let it go and you do it again. Illuminating your experience. Illuminating your deeper perspective of the present moment. The present moment has many layers. So noticing, this visceral layer, this layer where you get to notice your organs, your lungs in particular, moving. And notice how they push the diaphragm down. And then the diaphragm pushes up and it helps to empty the lungs. See if you can notice the heart beating. If you'd like to add another layer to the depth of this, noticing the present moment, maybe adding ujjayi, the ocean sounding breath, unless, this allergy season has got your throat hurting. And then with this sort of illumination of your experience through the breath, start to imagine that you could breathe awareness down the arms. And then in particular into the shoulders. Breathe awareness into your neck and throat. Ask your body to sort of show you its comfortable, natural alignment. And then breathe awareness into the muscles of the face, the jaw, eyes. With maybe just even a moment of ujjayi, the ocean sounding breath, breathe awareness into your ears, the sensation of them, but also like the physicality of them, but also what you hear. Noticing the eyes and the forehead as you breathe. Good. And then breathing awareness into the legs. We did this out of order than how I usually do it. That's okay. And allow yourself to feel rooted and grounded. Take a few more slow, deep breaths. And notice your whole being in this present moment. You can keep the breath going or you can let it go. And just notice what it's like for you to have breathed awareness into your body, into the space that you're in, into this moment. And as we sort of explore awareness, let's add some sound into our practice as well. And I haven't done this in a while, but let's do an om, but let's break it down. Sometimes I just love breaking it down. I like thinking about the syllables. So it's o strung together. Right? So let's do three. So we'll do o, and then we'll string them all together. Oh, maybe once, maybe a bunch. We'll see how spirit moves us. So you can bring your arms off to the sides. Let's add movement, just for fun. So let's start with ah. So inhale the arms overhead, and as you exhale the sound ah, hands come straight down the midline. And the next one's O. Last one, Good. Let's string them all together. Inhaling. Let's do it again. Oh, let's do it one more time. Just take in the vibration of Om. Notice the echo of it through your body. What has opened, what has shifted. Good. And then let your head bow down towards your heart. Send a little thank you to yourself. And then let your mind go right back to noticing. As you inhale, you can roll your head over to one side and just pause there. Making any little movements, any warm-ups for this side. And then slowly make your way down, chin to chest, and move right over to the other side. Make any little movements or shifts. And then bring your head down, chin to chest. Good. And you can start to blink your eyes open. You can lift your gaze and bring your head back up. All right. So if you're sitting on something, you can break it down so you can undo it. Stretch your legs out. Do what you need to do. And actually, we'll put the arms and legs. Let's lie down briefly. You know, I wasn't asked for a restorative class, so we won't stay here for super long. But let's lay down briefly. And when you get there, we'll warm up the arms and legs by just floating them into the air. Relax the arms and the shoulders, the legs and the hips, and start to wave them around. So whatever, it might be a shake, it might be I don't know, circle, a rotation, kind of like you're swimming, but not really. So do whatever movements feels good to you. Big, small, mostly stillness, it's up to you. And as they start to feel warmed up, maybe there's something else that you'd like. Maybe you bend the knees and then lengthen them. Maybe you bend the arms and then lengthen them. Good. And then bring the limbs back up. And we'll start to play with the core a little bit. So I know for me, when I do this, that natural curve in the lumbar spine is not touching the ground, right? My back is a little curvy right now. So you're going to hug the belly into the spine and kind of push the lumbar down into the yoga mat. So now your core is engaged. And now for me, it feels kind of good to kind of push through the feet. Not to lengthen the hamstrings necessarily, but just to sort of engage the legs. So I keep my knees bent. And then let your arms be heavy in the shoulders, but a little bit of engagement in the arms and hands mostly. Good. And breathe. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, start to lower your arms slowly out to the sides. Feel how that kind of opens the heart a little bit, and then slowly bring them back up. So there's still strength in the legs, in the belly. You're just going to slowly lower the arms and then lift them back up. Keep breathing. So as we do this, right, at first it's like, it's pretty easy. But as we do this really slowly, it becomes a little less, right? A little more like, oh, this is more than I thought it would be. Right? So keep hugging the belly into the spine. You want to make sure you're using your belly more than your back to kind of stabilize the body on the ground, to stabilize the legs in the air. Good. And then you can bend your knees, draw them into the chest. Maybe you rock a little side to side. Good. And let's bring the arms and legs back up and do a little shake again. So we're warming up basically all the joints in the extremities. You can open and close your hands. Good. And then you can pause and just do fingers and toes. Squish and open, squish and open. Squish isn't the right word, but you know what I mean. And then you bring the knees in again and gently rock side to side. Squish and open. What did I mean? Close? Close and open? Open, close. Flex and extend is what we would say in anatomy. Flex and extend. All right, so you can bring your feet to the floor. Oh, and let's warm up a little bit more from here. I didn't, this is new in my brain, but you're gonna bring your arms off to the side. So sometimes we warm up with a twist. This isn't that. And sometimes we relax at the end with a twist. This isn't that. So you're going to put your arms to the sides, palms down, but it's kind of, you're going to bring your legs in, kind of like if you were squatting on the ground, or kind of what's the word? Is that squat? On the ground with feet on the floor, kind of rear end near the ground. But obviously you're not oriented that way. But you're going to, just like before, pull the belly into the spine, and you're going to slowly, as if you're going to twist, slowly bring your legs down to one side, back through center, and to the other side. I don't have to go very far before my body's like, ooh, that's a lot of work. So I'm not saying don't let it be a lot of work. We just want it to be safe. So go slow, because that's going to be a little more work anyway. And just go side to side. And maybe you're, I'm not the super twistiest person, so I don't go super far when I do this. But use the belly, right? Use the arms, use the body, use the muscle. Good. And then come back through center, hands to knees or legs somewhere, and rock side to side. Puppy face. Great. And then from here, let's you can roll over to one side just as a transition before we sit. And then we can come up to seated. And I'm sorry if I'm huffing and puffing into the mic. My allergies are okay until I lie down, and then I get really stuffy. It is my allergy season. Okay. All right, so we're back. So let's do basically cat and cow. I've been trying to come up with new ways to do it. So I came up with this new stronger way to do it, or strengthening way to do it. So you want to be on your sitting bones. I keep the knees bent. I also keep the toes. So I'm going to study a little bit. Dorsiflexed, dorsal flexion, right? So the feet are flexed. And so for me, there's engagement now through the lower legs. This stuff is bent, so through the upper legs, and then through the belly too. So I imagine my yoga mat's really sticky. So I kind of imagine that I'm pulling my heels towards my butt. So, and that kind of lengthens everything. And if you don't have a sticky mat, you can, it doesn't matter. It's okay. You can let that one go. But basically, let's bring the arms up to like the top of a cactus. And as you inhale, just bring the arms back a little bit. And as you exhale, float the arms. You can go straight, palms towards each other, and just round your back. We'll come up to neutral. Inhale, strong legs, and then just gently press the elbows back. And then we'll kind of dive forward like you're diving into a pool of water. And then bend the elbows, shoulder blades draw together, and you arch the back. So not super, not a lot of cow tilt, but definitely cat, right? But we're warming up. I'll show you another way to do it. If you slide your hands behind you, point your fingers away. Now we're in a little bit more cow. And then exhale, arms can come forward again, round. So strong legs. My legs are getting tired though. Exhale, round. Okay, this time, relax your legs, feet on the floor, and just round the body over the legs. Good. So a nice, like isometric strengthening of the legs as we warmed up the spine. So let's do the other one that I love. So it's always a lot of directions at first, but you two know it. We've done it together. So basically, just like before, knees bent, toes up. We're going to inhale the arms up. Later, we'll do all these three things together. And then exhale, toes point, legs lengthen, arms down. So inhale, knees, toes, fingers lift. Exhale, They lengthen. They don't have to be all the way straight. So inhale, lift. Exhale, straighten. So keep hugging the belly into the spine. Keep kind of hugging your heels towards your sitting bones when you bend the knees. And to me, my back, it felt pretty good to round on the way down. So if you want to kind of round the back as you point the toes, that's fine too. Good. So next time you're lifted, just stay there. So hug or kind of drag the heels towards your sitting bones. They're not actually going to go anywhere. Hug the belly into the spine, lift the heart. Good. And breathe. Good. And then let's release because there's something else I wanted to do, but let's let the back relax. So you can bend your knees, drape your body over the legs. All right. So when you're ready, you can come back up. I think I made sure that the people live had a block. So have your block handy. If you don't have a block, you could use like a thick pillow or even a blanket. And we're going to place the block. Oh no, we're not going to do it like that. You could use 2 blocks. I was just thinking you could strengthen your adductors on the inside of your thigh, and you could use a block there, but we're going to do that later anyway. So I was thinking that we did that thing we were doing where we flex the feet, hug the heels in, and use the belly and sit up nice and tall. And then you can take the block in your hands out in front of you, but make sure that the shoulders aren't being pulled forward, that everything's as neutral as you were sitting here in your good posture, right? And you're going to extend the arms, keep the shoulders kind of placed, and you're just going to press into the block a little with your palms. And then inhale, float your arms up, and exhale, slowly float the arms down. Wait, is this yoga or just a workout? Inhale, float the arms up. It's easier if you smile. So that's where I try to make you smile. Exhale, slowly lower. So you're working your muscles. You are very strong. Inhale and exhale. In case you need something to feel good about today, you did something amazing today. You walked. Even if it came with a little pain, you walked, right? So that's something. Your body did a whole lot more than that, though. So I was just saying if we needed one thing to feel grateful for. Good. And then when you're ready, release the arms just like before. Bend your knees, feet flat on the floor, and round your body. The other option is feet together, knees out to the sides. Good. And when you're ready, you can roll your way back up. You can bend your knees. And let's just do a simple seated twist to the right. The legs can really be positioned however you want. I'm happy here, but you can put them wherever you want. But you're going to lengthen the spine and just gently soften into a twist as you look over your right shoulder and breathe. Good. And then gently unwind and go right over to the other side. Lengthen the spine first and gently twist. Good. And you can unwind and roll your way right over the legs again. All right. So let's warm up this side body a little more. We skipped ahead and did some strengthening, and we are going to do more of that. But let's just warm up the side body a little. So if you and the hips. So if you bring because that's the risk, I feel like we strengthen and then things that are already tight get a little tighter. So we don't want that to happen. So bring your forearms behind you, feet wide apart, knees bent, and let your knees start to go side to side. Just notice all the details. Go slow so that you have time to notice. Good. And then let your knees go to the right. Keep your right forearm on the ground, and you're going to lift your left arm and let it go along the left ear and just lengthen away from the knees. And we're going to move around a little bit. So take a breath in next time. And then exhale, bend at the elbow and bring your elbow and shoulder, your left arm and elbow back, look up, and then go back to where you came from, but look down this time. So you're going to bend at the elbow like the half arm of a cactus, pull the elbow and shoulder back, and then lengthen. And I'm doing it if my words are confusing. Sorry, it sounds like there's like 10 children outside my house laughing. It's pretty amazing. All right, so eventually you can bring your arm down, sweep it behind you, and let the knees go side to side. Good, and let's go the other way. So knees to the left, left forearm on the ground, sweep your right arm along the right ear, take a breath in. And as you exhale, bend the elbow, draw it back, look over your shoulder, almost like you're throwing something. And then you'll go back to where you came, but this time you look down. So, be careful here. You don't want to stress the neck. We are asking gravity. We're kind of asking a lot of the neck because of how we are with gravity right now, especially when we go back. So, make sure your neck is happy about this. And also what's happening is, for me anyway, the hip is moving. The hip moves back and then forth. So there is some movement, a little bit of mobility in the lower limb as well. And the next time you're looking down, just pause, maybe a breath or two. And when you're ready, forearms behind you, let your knees go side to side again. Good. And then you can come back up to seated. And I think that's all the movements of the spine. So let's come up to standing. We'll use our block again. And when you get there, so we're going to do mountain. Sorry, I realized my blinds were open. And if there's 3 lights around my computer, so I'm like very well lit. I like my privacy. Okay, so we're gonna be Pez dispensers. So put your block between your femur bones, above your knees, and you're gonna gently hug. Now you're strengthening your adductor muscles. I could tell you the names of all of them, but I'm trying not to study at your expense. Then you're gonna squeeze the block. Yeah, not overly hard. You're not trying to kill it or anything. Palms can face forward. And then press up to the top of your head. But like we were talking about earlier, make sure you're not like tucking the chin completely and like over lengthening the spine. You want that natural bend or a little curve in the back of the neck. Good. And as you inhale, start to float your arms out and up. And just pause here. As you exhale, just soften your shoulders. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, bring the arms down as you start to very slowly bend the knees. Slowly, slowly sink back into Utkatasana, or chair pose. Arms to your sides. And then inhale slowly. The arms can come back up. And exhale, bend and slowly hinge or flex the hips and the knees. So moving with your breath. Right? So when we bend, we're slowly strengthening the hamstrings. When we lengthen, we're strengthening the quads. I learned that this past couple weeks. Good. So mine are getting a little tired. So if you need a break, you can take a break. We are going to hold a little bit. So when you're ready, you can bend your knees. Find a distance from your rear end to the ground that feels good to you. Arms just be at your sides for now. So you're just kind of like making peace with the legs, kind of shifting your weight back into your heels a little bit. And then as you inhale, arms to your sides, kind of bring them up. Remember what we did before, and then bring them down. How you kind of not sunk your shoulders, but you just let your shoulders stay as neutral as they would be if you were just standing. And then inhale, the arms come up to any degree. And exhale, bring them down. I like doing it this way because I like to see which muscles fire as I bring the arms up. You know, how the back appreciates it or doesn't, right? So that you can sort of modify. It also distracts me from my legs. Good. And then inhale, lengthen, lift up, and let's fold. You can release your block. Fold forward. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. Slow, deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. And then bend your knees. Let's slowly roll up one bone at a time. So go pretty slow. It doesn't have to take one breath. It could take a couple. It could take a few. So just get a sense of how your muscles feel as they start to extend and lengthen, as they start to come into your neutral alignment. There we go. All right. So let's shake that off a little bit with standing swinging twist. So feet a little wider than hips are wide. Arms heavy at your sides and just start to spin. So start off real gentle, real slow. And then the pace is up to you. And I know you two know this, but saying it for the sake of video viewers, lift the heel that you face away from so that you can protect the knee. Good. And then gradually slow down. Good. Come back through standing on 2 feet and just notice how you feel. All right. So we only like hinted at a side stretch when we were warming up before. So let's do half moon. We'll do it with a block. And it's funny, I was reviewing my video today because I know Janet was saying it was her favorite class. So I was like, what was so special? But I was looking at it and I was noticing something I was just about to say, that I kept saying, like, this is kind of the same thing I teach all the time. But when the request is strengthening, we slow it down, right? We really pay attention. You can do yoga poses in a way that stretches. I feel like I could stretch in every single one. And I can also engage, but my body prefers the former, right? I prefer a stretch, so I tend to do that. So it takes a lot of like nudging, a lot of remembering to get myself to, oh no, let's engage, let's strengthen. Anyway, so let's bring the so you're gonna hug your legs into the block again, fingers interlaced, pointer fingers lifted, and you start to lift your arms overhead, your hands overhead. And just find a place where you can feel strong and balanced. Don't worry about what's next. Don't even picture the arc over. Just here, balanced, strong through the legs, neutral through the pelvis, strong through the belly, but open through the heart, right? Yeah, so find your strength. Imagine your feet pushing down into the ground. Legs hugging into the block. Lift up out of that strong, steady base. Inhale. And as you exhale, arc over to the right a little. Inhale, lengthen from here. And then exhale, maybe, this is just maybe, you arc over a little more. You got to kind of see what your body needs. Good. Breathe. Find your shape. Half moon. Tailbone keeps pointing towards the ground. Belly keeps hugging into the spine. Shoulders are soft. Back of the neck, right, is neutral. You want your neck to be in a neutral alignment. Strong through the legs. Deepen the breath. Find that stretch on the side body. See if you can relax where you're stretching the left side. There's a lot of things that are holding, but can you relax that left side? And the answer might be no. It's just an inquiry. Can I do that? And then float your way back up. We'll have plenty of time for ease, and we'll fold forward again. So you can remove your block, take a break. Let the head hang heavy, breathe. And just ragdoll, right? There's no way that there's no like one shape this has to look. Nothing in particular you have to do. And you can roll your way up on an inhale. Actually, we can take as many breaths as you want, just slowly rolling up. Good. And we'll do the other side. You decide if you want the block. I'm going to use the block again. Helps me feel stable. So you're going to hug the legs into the block. Hands in prayer. Fingers interlaced. And you can inhale. Just lengthen. Just make peace with this. This is plenty, and it's important too, right? Not just transition. So soften your shoulders. Neck is neutral. I want to keep kind of thinking about like, what is the right alignment? Like what, and right means it feels good to you. That push down through the feet, in through the block, up through the fingers. A lot of directions happening here, and all we're doing is standing. So inhale, lengthen, and exhale, slowly start to arc over to your left and pause. Inhale, lengthen from here. And exhale, maybe you arc over more. If your back says any hint of, I don't know about this, come out of it. It's fine. So breathe. See if you can breathe. Sort of, what was I saying before? Illuminate your experience on that stretch side. Yeah. What about the strength? Can you illuminate the experience of your strength? Sometimes it's just a matter of perspective, right? Matter of, just engaging the right place. Good. And then you can come back up. Release your arms. Fold forward once again. You can remove your block. And hang heavy. You can sigh it out if that feels good. Cleansing breath. You can bend your knees. Chin can tuck, and you can roll your way up. One bone at a time. When you find your way into standing, just take a moment. Notice how you feel. All right, and let's do a little standing swinging twist again. And getting that out of our system. Right? We're strong, but we're also flexible. We're also movable. Good. And then very gradually, you can come back to center. All right. Oh, goodness. All right. We started a little late tonight, so time is already a little bit away from you, but I got this. So let's do as requested. Let's do triangle. So just like, we're going to emphasize strength. You can certainly find a lot of stretch in triangle. We're going to emphasize strength. So feet wide apart, right toes. Try not to say the anatomical words. What's this called? Turn out. Yeah, turn out at a 90-degree angle. Left toes. Turn in a little bit. There we go. Good. And find your strength. So it feels like we're about to do warrior 2, but we're going to do triangle. Actually, let's do warrior 2 for the briefest moment. But let's hug the feet towards each other. Just engage the leg muscles. Start to bend your knee and land a little more strongly than usual. Often we can get the stretch, but let's land in a strong warrior 2 stance. So feet pull towards each other, leg muscles are engaged, and then float your arms out parallel. You can always rearrange. I needed to rearrange my feet a little bit. Oh, and that made my hip crack. Relax your shoulders. Good. And then inhale, lengthen the arms overhead as you lengthen your legs, and bring your hands down. So, a little ease through the legs. You can kind of wiggle them out if you need to. So let's do triangle. So same sensibility, feet hug towards each other. That'll engage your legs. Let's start with hands on hips. You're going to inhale nice and tall and exhale, hips go to the left, shoulders and head go to the right. So for me, there's a lot of stretch here. We didn't do really anything for this muscle here, so stretch wise. So let's kind of move in and out of this because inevitably there is a stretch there. Good. So let's come back up to standing. I know I lost my strength. So pull the feet towards each other, engage your legs, reach your arms up overhead, inhale. And as you exhale, hinge at your hips, arms parallel to the ground. Keep your legs strong. Yeah, and just pause here, arms parallel to the ground. Keep feeling that sort of long line from the outer edge of your left hip all the way up to your crown, from your fingertip to fingertip on left and right side. It's hard to do this and talk. And then you're going to pivot the arms and find your triangle. I know as soon as I do that, it's a little easier for me to like rotate the torso. So the left shoulder goes back a little, right shoulder comes in and under. And the neck, make sure the neck is happy. Sometimes I have to look down. Good. So strong through the legs, strong through the core, come all the way back up, sink right down into warrior two. So it takes a little bit more, right, like external rotation in the right knee and hip. Good. I think it felt to me like it took more. I don't know. Good. And then inhale, come up, toes are forward, and let's fold forward. Arms can come forward, or if you'd like, yoga mudra. You can do a wide angled yoga mudra. When you're ready, find your way, take your time, up. And we were wide angled for a while, so if you do need a break, you can take a break. And we'll do the other side. So feet wide apart. Left toes out, right toes in. And let's start with that strength. So feet towards each other. Let's see, how do we start? Inhale, the arms up overhead. And exhale, keep that strength as you bend your knee. Left knee, arms parallel to the ground. So we start with just a moment of warrior two, just to kind of feel grounded and strong. Good. And then lengthen the leg, arms overhead. And then exhale, bring the hands to the hips, and we'll kind of re-power up, so to speak. So feet hug towards each other, legs engaged, right? You're nice and tall, hands on hips. Take a breath. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips. Hips go to the right, shoulders go to the left. And then you come back through center. So, there's stretch here for sure. So let's let that be. We just don't want to hyperextend the knees. Good. And then come back through center and we'll sort of charge the legs again. Inhale the arms overhead. Engage the belly and hinge at your hips. Arms parallel to the ground. And just pause here. So strong legs, strong core. Even, the sides of the body are engaged. There's a lot of things engaged here to kind of hold you against gravity in this shape. And then gently pivot the arms, left arm down, right arm up. Let the right shoulder gently draw back. I find it's easier to twist. It's like a little bit easier on the muscles when I add a little twist there. Good. And then strong through the legs, come back upright, bend your knee, a very strong warrior two. Well, strong from the waist down, right? Light from the waist up. Good. Inhale, arms overhead, turn your toes and fold forward. Oh, good. And you can start slowly to make your way back up to standing and get your feet a little closer. All right, we're getting there. We're close to coming down to the ground, but let's stand on one foot first. The time is definitely getting away from me tonight, but I think I'm gonna make it. So find mountain. We're gonna do tree. So let your eyes focus on something. Hands in prayer. Right? Make sure there's a little bend in the knee. You can shift your weight to the left foot. Right heel lifts, knee bends, and then the knee rotates out. and you can slide your foot to your foot. So toes can stay on the ground, ball of the foot can stay on the ground, or you come up higher. And breathe. So use your belly. Feel the left leg pushing down, belly pushing back. Heart is just light. Arms can come up. So breathe here. Make sure the neck has that natural kind of curve in it. I always, the chin is parallel to the ground. And if you want to be fancy, sometimes I like to draw the knee midline and then just take a hold of it for a moment. And then release. And you can shake it out. That's a twofer. 2 balancing poses for the price of 1. It's strange, like making jokes and trying to make you laugh without being able to like actually know, like teaching into the void. It's how many years? It's been a couple years and I'm still. It makes me laugh. That fact in itself makes me laugh. Okay, let's do the other side. So shift your weight to your right foot. I'm not mirroring you, by the way. Left heel lifts, knee turns out. So steady your standing leg, kind of push the foot down, make sure you're not hyperextending foot to foot. Maybe the foot comes up higher or toes stay on the ground. It's all good. Belly is strong, leg is strong, heart is light. You can have branches if you want. And breathe. Find where you can feel really strong here. You can feel light. Good. Whenever you're ready, you can find your way down. Fold forward or downward facing dog or even child's pose, something that just feels like a nice rest after that. And eventually we'll make our way down to the yoga mat. So if child's pose feels good, that's good, or a seated forward fold, anything that would feel just like a nice rest. Good. And when you're ready, you can find your way. Do I have time for that? Yeah, sure. All right. Sorry, I'm thinking. The wheels are turning. Find your way onto your belly. We'll do this briefly. Actually, we'll do Sphinx pose, but you can rest for a moment. Arms where you want them. You can bend your knees. Let your feet go side to side. And then turn your head the other way. And let your legs slow down, about 50% slower. And then 50% slower than that. And even slower. Good. And then release your legs back behind you. Ouch. Sorry. I tweaked my toes there. And come up onto your forearms. So we'll do forearm plank, but we'll start in a Sphinx. And my yoga mat is very skinny. One of them is. I have my travel yoga mat. My crossways. And anyway, it's not enough cushion. So I've got my blanket underneath me. I might not love that, but we'll see what happens. So fingers spread wide, forearms going to push down into the ground. But you want your neck and your shoulders to be neutral. Imagine yourself standing in Tadasana, our mountain pose. And how, your shoulders would just gravity pushing your shoulders back. We kind of have to make that happen here. And your belly, you would make this happen if you're standing, would be hugging back into the spine. So I like to bend the knees here because I like to, just like we were doing before, like imagining we could like pull the feet towards each other or the heels towards the rear end or seated. This is similar. I like to imagine I'm going to pull my knees towards my elbows and I lift my way up and then I lower. So forearm plank is intense, but we're adding a little layer here. So pulling the knees towards the elbows, and then you lower down slow. And I can't really talk and do that. So notice what your neck is doing. I just noticed I was doing that thing where I tuck my chin and lengthen the back of the neck from years of dance class. So let's not do that. Let's keep the neck neutral as if you were standing in mountain. If you were lying down and there's a little space between the back of the neck and the floor. Good. So we're strengthening the arms, the shoulders, the core, even the legs. So whenever you've had enough, sorry, I think I did that for longer than usual. You can release, bend your knees, let your feet go side to side. Good. And then release the legs. And let's roll over to the side. So come onto your side. Kind of curl up into a little ball. And just rest a moment. And you can find your way onto your back. Good. Let your feet go wide apart. We did a lot of strengthening for the legs. Let's stretch them a little bit. Let your knees go side to side. Good. And then come back through center. You can bring your arms along the sides of your body. Kind of tuck your shoulder blades underneath, sidelines of the arms underneath, or hands underneath your sacrum. Good. And then you can start to hug the belly into the spine. We'll do one more kind of strengthening thing here. So hug the belly down and you're going to extend one leg I imagine that I'm pushing a weight away from me. And then imagine you're pulling and that weight still connected to your foot back towards you. And then do the other side. So keep pushing the belly down, go slow, and really imagine that weight. So there's a few directions here, right? Belly pushing down, legs pushing out and in. Shoulders, can you relax your shoulders? Is the back of the neck neutral? Slow it down. Good. Ooh, and whenever you're done, I'm done with that. And feet, just like we were doing before, feet wide apart, knees bent, and let them go side to side. All right, so let's bring the feet up or the feet to the floor rather, knees up. And arms are same position as before. Wait, is that true? Yeah, sorry. But we're not going to do a core thing. We're going to do a glute thing. So you're going to bring your feet a little further away from your sitting bones than you would be if you were doing bridge. And you kind of have to consciously engage your glutes. So you're going to push into your heels. Take a breath in. Push into your heels, engage your glutes, and slowly lift. And then slowly lower. So you're going to move with your breath. Engage your glutes, lift as you push into your heels, and lower. And there's a few directions here too. Imagine that block was still there, or you could just put your block in between your knees if you want, and then that might stabilize. I don't know if I've done it that way. I know when we do bridge, we often do it like that. I'm just going to see how it feels. Oh yeah, that adds a whole other layer. I don't go as high, but there's definitely strength there. Maybe that's good. I think sometimes when we go too high, we throw ourselves off balance. I know I do. I'm stronger on my right side. So I notice my hips are off, but with the block, it kind of forces symmetry. All right, I like it. I like the block idea. I usually try to pretend some level of I didn't just make it up on the spot. And there you go. You guys know. Just kidding. I don't make it all up. Just sometimes. All right. So when you've had enough, I've had enough. You can release, and just like before, heels come closer to you, feet wide apart, and let your knees go side to side. All right, we gotta wrap this up here. So let's do our twist, our spine, we have a couple minutes in twist, and then I give you about 10 minutes for relaxation. So when you're ready, you can find your way into your supine twist. So that would be our arms wide apart or outstretched. Scoot your hips to the right, and either let your knees just drop to the left, or they can come in towards the left shoulder and then over to the left. And you're going to look to the right. So breathe here. Relax where you can. Good, and let's go the other way. So you can unwind first, square your hips, give it a moment. Good, and then we can go the other way. So hips to the left, knees come in and over to the right. Oh, Millie, my dog just barked and it made me jump. Millie. So let's see, knees to the right, head to the left. I might have skipped something. I'm sorry, but I think we all know how to do it. Millie threw me off there. And breathe. All right, whenever you feel ready, you can unwind. Whew. And just, take a little bit to finish your practice, a minute or so. And the last thing I'll ask is that you just get yourself comfortable in relaxation. So take your time to get there. All right. So if you are feeling ready for relaxation, you can set yourself up if you haven't already. Just make sure that you're comfortable. And you can start your relaxation with some slow, deep breathing. Practicing your Dirga pranayam or 3-part yogic breath, just like we did earlier, or sometimes we call it the complete breath. Right? Lungs completely full, then lungs complete. But see if you can do it in the most gentle way, in the most to go, but here kind of way. Just all the time in the world, slow, slow. Good. And then let the breath just do its own thing. And let your mind kind of drift through the body. Start with the toes. Notice all you can notice about your toes. And notice your feet. And let your mind just drift its way upwards through the body at your own pace, your own time, your own way. as your mind makes its way up through the body, getting through the head eventually, just invite yourself to be here. It's all you need to be. It's all you need to do is just be here, which is more than nothing, right? Something. It's plenty. Just let yourself be here. It's more than nothing. It's a lot, actually, to just be here. right, so if you feel ready, you can start to deepen your breath. You can start to move fingers and toes. You can stretch and move however you need to. You can yawn. Hug your knees into the chest. Do whatever you need to do. And eventually you can roll over to one side and use your hands to make your way back up to seated, but really take your time. Good. And when you do get back up to seated, just take a moment and notice how you feel. So I have a cat circling me like a shark here. All right, then you bring your hands into prayer, and we made a lot of sound at the beginning, so let's make just one om at the end if you'd like. Om Shanti Shanti peace. Right? May you know peace in your heart, peace in your mind, and peace in your body, and may you share it with the world. You can bow your head to your heart, honoring your true self, your true light. Jai Bhagwan, victory to the divine light that resides within. Namaste. All right. Thank you, friends. I'm going to stop the recording.